Hey guys, WilliowAlchemist here, back in another video, and this video is going to be a little bit of a different video. It's basically just going to be me just talking to you guys about some games that I'm looking to purchase before the end of the year, if I can. So basically, it's like the end of October as I'm filming this. We've only got a couple months left of the year, but yet there's still so many games that I would like to get, and I thought I'd just share them with you pretty much. So this is in no particular order really. These are just pretty much all the games I would like to purchase before the end of the year, and there's quite a lot, including some very expensive games as well. So I'm just going to go through and just talk about all the games that I would like to get before the year's over with. So without further ado, let's just get straight into it. Let's start things off with two games that just recently came out. So starting off, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 for the PS4. Yes, PS4 because I still don't have a PS5. So the new Call of Duty Black Ops 6 just came out a few days ago, and unfortunately I wasn't able to pre-order it simply because, well, I didn't have the money for it at the time. But I will eventually get it at some point. It's literally now the only Call of Duty that I don't have for the PS4. I'm just looking at my collection up here. I have every other Call of Duty game on that system, minus Black Ops 6 now. Black Ops 6 is a game I've been looking forward to for, pretty much ever since it was announced, because usually the Black Ops games are usually some of the best in the series. I really enjoyed Cold War back in 2020. I felt the campaign was a little bit too short, and that's the only really mode that I play, to be honest, in Call of Duty. I don't really touch the multiplayer or even zombies, to be honest. I'm like a campaign guy first and foremost. And I thought Cold War was really good, so I was looking forward to Black Ops 6, and I was going to get the game day one, but again, due to, not having the funds for it pretty much, and trying to save up for other games, which I'll talk about later, I wasn't able to get it day one, but it's okay. I don't really need it to get it day one, I could just wait and get it a little bit cheaper, and it's kind of a good thing that I did anyway, because originally I was going to pre-order it off Amazon, because Amazon was selling it for I think $57.99, something like that, instead of the full $69.99, which I thought was the cheapest I could have gotten it. But now the game's already out, I'm already seeing brand new sealed copies on eBay for as low as just £50. So in hindsight, it was a good thing that I didn't pre-order from Amazon, because the game is already getting a little bit cheaper, and it's only been out for 3 days or so. So yes, that's the first game, and then the next one, which also launched on the same day, Sonic X Shadow Generations. Now, this is a game I'm thinking of putting on my Christmas list, actually, because I didn't need to get a day one at all, because, well, it's a remaster of Generations, which I already have for the Xbox 360. Obviously, the main selling point of it is the new Shadow content, but it was just something that, again, I didn't need to get it right away. I could just easily wait. And like I said, I'm planning on putting it on my Christmas list, actually. We'll see whether or not I get it for Christmas. If not, I'll get it at some point in the new year when the game comes cheap in price, because I'm in no rush to play Generations again, So it's, I can wait pretty much, but I do want to get it. There's also two more other Sonic games that I want to get to complete the PS4 set, and that's Colors Ultimate and Superstars. I'm not too fussed if I don't get those by the end of this year, but it's just two games that I want to get to complete the PS4 set, along with Sonic X Shadow Generations. And then the next game is for a system that I've really been enjoying collecting as of recently, and is actually my main collecting focus at the moment, and that is the Sega Mega Drive. I've really been enjoying collecting for the Mega Drive this year so far, even though I haven't really gotten too many games for it. I must say, I've just really been enjoying, playing the system and getting new games for it, and it's going to be my focus from now on, because all my other systems I'll still collect for, but I'm pretty happy with what I've got for, say, the Xbox 360, the PS2, PS4, but with the Sega Mega Drive, there's a ton of games I still really want to get. And the first of which is an absolute classic for the system, Robocop versus Terminator. This is a game that my dad owns. He actually still has his original copy, along with his original Mega Drive up in the loft. And and I played it before, and it is, like I said, an absolute classic for the system, 2D run and gun. It was a game that I never really got too far into. It is quite hard, just a lot of you know, running gun games of that era is quite a difficult game. I think I got as far as like the third stage, but it is a great game regardless. Music's fantastic as well. And yeah, I'd just love to own my own copy of it. Now, annoyingly, it's a very pricey game nowadays, especially boxed. You could usually get a loose cart for about 20 quid or so. But if you want it boxed, you're looking at around about like 40 to 50 pounds, somewhere around there. So it's not a cheap game. And I do want to get all my Mega Drive games boxed from now on. Originally, my rule was that if the game was cheaper, I would just get the loose cart. But I think with Mega Drive, I like actually owning the boxes, you know, so I decided to go down the route of every game I buy for the Mega Drive has to have at least a box. If it doesn't have the manual, like, so be it. I'm not as fussy with manuals now as I used to be, but it has to have the box at least, in good condition, of course. So, yeah, Robocop versus Terminator, high on my list of Mega Drive games I really want to get. Another one that's high up there is Aladdin, another absolute classic for the Mega Drive, and another one that my dad still owns his original copy of. I mean, this is a must-own game for the Mega Drive, just like with the Sonic games. This is a game you have to own. And yes, it has had a re-release on modern consoles. They did like a Disney Classics collection, I think, that had Lion King, Aladdin, and some other game, I forgot, or maybe it's just those two. Yeah, and Aladdin's a great game. Again, another one that I haven't gotten too far into, but I'd love to own my own copy of. Thankfully, complete box copies of Aladdin are a lot cheaper than Robocop vs Terminator. I think you could probably get a box copy for about like £12 or so. I forgot the CX prices exactly. I think without manuals, like £8 or something. But yeah, it's a lot cheaper than Robocop vs Terminator. And yeah, it's just another game I really want for the Mega Drive collection. Now, another game I really want for the Mega Drive is one I already own, actually, but I want to get a box copy of, and that's the original Vector Man. Absolutely love that game. I think I mentioned before in my Mega Drive collection video. Vector Man is one of my all-time favorite games for the Mega Drive. It's another run and gun, and a really solid one, like great like pre-rendered visuals that really show off what the system was capable of, and once again, like, just fantastic music. I absolutely love Vector Man. I have the sequel as well, Vector Man 2, which is a very pricey game now. Yeah, but I only have just the loose cartridge for it, which is a shame. I mean, I got it for a bargain. I think I got it for only like a £5, like last year on eBay. But I want to get that game boxed because I absolutely just love it. You know, it's one of my all-time favorite games for the system. So at some point, I want to buy a box copy and just sell my loose cart, you know. Plus, the loose cart one I have, the top of the label is peeling off slightly, because like the glue is just like completely dried up now, and there's like a slight like dent in the back. But yeah, but it's a game I do already own already. Plus I have it on a bunch of Sega Mega Drive compilations and stuff. But yeah, I would like to own a box copy of that game. Another game I'd like for the Mega Drive is Comix Zone, a very unique game that I have played before on like Sonic Mega Collection Plus and Sega Mega Drive Ultimate Collection. Again, another bona fide classic for the Mega Drive. And a very unique game as well. I can't think of any other game that's quite like it, you know, where, you know, you play as this guy trapped inside of a comic book. Basically, it's a beat 'em up, kind of sort of like Streets of Rage. You're inside a comic book and you could jump over panels and stuff. And like the whole like art style and visuals of the game and the way it's done, just like a comic book, just looks absolutely fantastic. And again, it's a really, really unique game. Another hard game that I never got far into, but I just really like the whole like premise of it, and you know, like it visually looks so amazing for the system. And yeah, and I'd just love to own my own copy of it, boxed of course. Sadly, it is another really expensive game. You're looking at around like £60-70 complete in box, depending on condition, and of course whether or not it has the limited edition CD inside, which I'm not fussed about. I don't really need that. This is one that out of all these games on the list, I probably more likely won't be able to get for the end of the year, just because of how expensive it is. But yeah, it's something I would like to get eventually, you know, because I just think it's such a cool game, you know, and I really like to own it. And then the last Mega Drive game that I'm looking to get before the end of the year is, of course, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. Now, I mentioned before that this was the only Sonic game I didn't own for the Mega Drive. I have all the others, so Sonic 1, 2, Spinball, 3, Sonic & Knuckles, Sonic Compilation, which actually does feature Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, and Sonic 3 Flicky's Island. So I got all of those with Sonic in the name, but the only spin-off game I'm missing is Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. And I played the game before, and it's pretty decent. It's basically a reskin of Puyo Puyo, the very first Puyo Puyo, where they basically just like changed the characters into the ones based on the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon. And yeah, and if you played Puyo Puyo before, it's basically, you know, it's Puyo Puyo. There's not really much to say about it. But again, just like with Robocop vs Terminator and Comic Zone, it is again another really expensive game box. You're looking at least about 50-60 quid. The other versions are even more expensive. I think for the Master System, you're looking about 150, just like absolutely insane. And I think the Game Gear version is pretty pricey as well. But yeah, but I really need this game to complete my Sonic collection for the Mega Drive. I mean, like I said, technically I already have it because it's part of the Sonic compilation, which has Sonic 1, 2, and Dr. Bug's Mean Bean Machine on the cartridge. But I need to have that original release of Dr. Bug's Mean Bean Machine, otherwise the collection just isn't complete to me. So yeah, so that's the reason why I want that. And then moving on from the Mega Drive to the PS1, I must say, when it comes to the PS1, I've mentioned this before about my PS2 collection, but I feel the same way about my PS1 collection as well. For the most part, I'm kind of done with PS1 collecting, and that's mainly because that I own pretty much every PS1 game that I ever wanted, except for one. And it's a game that holds a lot of sentimental value for me because it was not only the first PS1 game I ever had back when I originally had it, but it was also the first retro game in general that I owned. And it was the start of all of this and my love for collecting and retro gaming. And that is Toy Story 2, Buzz Lightyear to the Rescue. So I owned this game a long time ago, probably about like 2010, I would say, off eBay. It was the very first PS1 game I ever owned. And like an idiot, I sold it. I don't know why. I really regret doing that. Now I'm just trying to, you know, buy it back, you know, because again, it holds that sentimental value. I still remember like when I was young playing it, never getting too far into it. I don't know why, I don't think I liked it as a kid. That was probably the reason why I sold it. Even though if I was to play it now, I'd probably really enjoy it because, you know, it's a 3D platformer. And I've heard a lot of really good things about it. I just really regret selling it, you know. I've sold a bunch of games in my collection, including like some recently. But the only one I regret that I can think of is Toy Story 2, you know. I really do regret selling that. So yeah, so I'm just trying to like buy that back if I can. And add it back into my collection because again, it's what started my love for game collecting. You know, it was the very first retro game I ever owned. So I gotta buy it back, you know. But other than that, like, that's pretty much it for PS1. I mean, yeah, I am missing a lot of the staples. I mean, I don't have any of the Spyro games. I don't have any of the Crash Bandicoot games. I know, you're probably like, what? In terms of games that I personally really want to own, and I've wanted for a long time, it's really just Toy Story 2. And then after that, like, you know, I'll buy more games, you know, if there's something that piques my interest. But for the most part, I'll be pretty satisfied with how my collection is. And then finally, saved the best for last. The last game I want to mention is one that I'm currently saving up to get right now. And this is a game that if I do buy it, it will be by far the rarest and most expensive game in my whole collection, without a shadow of a doubt. This next game is a top heavy hitter for the system, and I would absolutely love to own it. And this game is for the Sega Master System, a system that I've only just started collecting like at the end of August because I got a adapter which allows you to play Master System games on the Mega Drive. I did a whole review on it as well. And so far I've only got just 3 games for the system, which are the 3 Sonic games I brought. So Sonic 1, 2 and Sonic Chaos. Those are the only games I own for the Master System. But however, those weren't the only Sonic games for that console. There's still 3 more, which I'd love to get, but they're all really, really expensive. And the one I want the most is Sonic Spinball. If you know about this game, if you're a Master System collector, you would know that Sonic Spinball is one of the top heavy hitters for the Sega Master System. Meaning it is by far one of the rarest and one of the expensive games on the console. And the reason for that is, well, it came out extremely late in the Master System's life cycle. I've seen some sources claim that the game came out as late as January of 1995. And because of that, not many copies were produced. And nowadays, it's a really expensive game. I mean, on CEX, you're looking at £150 without manual, £175 with manual. And on eBay, it's even more ridiculous. I've seen box copies on eBay go as high as £300. So yeah, so this is a heavy hitter for sure. You know, probably one of the most expensive Sonic games, at least that I can think of. And I really want it. I really, really want it. I mean, I know the game itself isn't great. It's basically like, if you play the Game Gear version of Spinball, it's basically that, but with a bigger, like, a screen resolution. That's all it is, pretty much. It's just a Game Gear port. And the Game Gear version of Spinball wasn't that great. It was basically like an 8-bit demake of the Mega Drive version. It's a game that I've just been fascinated by for a long time. You know, the fact that it was released so late in the Master System's life, and that not many people even know that it exists, you know. It only came out in Europe and Australia, I think. The Australian version noticeably has like a silver case and like a silver cartridge for whatever reason. No, there was other versions as well. There was like a Portugal release as well, which comes with like a blue box, and Tectoy Brazilian release. So this game was only released in like 4 different regions. It never came out in America or Japan or anything. It's just a really, really expensive game, but it is like top of my list for the Master System. I really want to get it, but it is a really expensive game. I'm currently saving up every last penny because I got my eye on a copy. And yeah, so we'll just have to see what happens with that. But anyway, so yeah, guys, so that was pretty much it. Those are just some of the games that I would like to get by the end of this year. Will I get all of them by the end of this year? More than likely no, but these are games I'm looking out for regardless. I'm hoping to find some of these if I can, because I'm going to be at Reading Comic-Con in November. I forgot the exact day, but yeah, in November, me and my family are going to go to Reading Comic-Con, which is basically a convention held in Reading that we usually go to like every year or every other year. It's pretty much the only convention that I ever go to, pretty much. I mean, it's not usually like for video games. It's usually just like, it's a Comic-Con, so it's about like general nerdy stuff, like movies and comic books and all that. But occasionally you do have like some people that do sell games as well. And yeah, I'm hoping, you know, because I got some birthday money saved up for this convention, so I'm hoping that I can find some of these games there. I'm hoping to at least find the Mega Drive games there, you know, because like I said, that's my collecting focus at the moment, is the Mega Drive. And also hopefully maybe some Master System as well, because I do want to get more Master System games in the collection. If you guys are also going as well, I mean, you can say hi if you want, I don't mind, you know, if you bump into me. But yeah, anyway guys, this was just a random video of me just like talking about some games I want. I hope you thought it was interesting anyway. Like, let me know in the comments if, like, you know, you own any of these games personally. You know, like, do you own that Sonic Spinball for the Master System? I'd really be curious to know. And if so, how much did you pay for it? But yeah, but anyway, please like, subscribe, and peace. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, take care now.